Hi first graders, today we're going to learn how to make a PowerPoint ebook. So what I need you to do first is go to our class website. You can find our class website at jconrad.d41teachers.org. You probably have our class website already in one of your favorites, in your favorite folders on your Internet Explorer or whatever search engine you're using. So once you get to our class website, you're going to go ahead and you're going to scroll down to the bottom, and you see all these blue tabs on the left side of our page. You're going to go down to where it says PowerPoint ebook templates. Go ahead and click on that tab, and this is going to open up our template page. So as you can see, we have one for narrative template. We have a narrative template. We have a nonfiction book template. We have a poetry book template. Today we're going to learn how to use the narrative book template. So what I'd like you to do is go ahead and click on the book template for narrative, and I'm using a Mac, so my screen might look a little bit different than yours. If you have a PC, your PowerPoint template's probably just going to open right up. I actually have to go to my downloads to find mine. So I'm going to open it up, and once your PowerPoint template opens up, this is the screen that you're going to have. And the slide that we're looking at right now is the title slide. And if you look over here to the left, this is our slide sorter. And once you're in the slide sorter, you can see all the different slides. So we have a title page where we're going to put the title of our book, and then we have some other pages we're going to type our story, and then at the very end on slide 7 we have an About the Author page where you can tell all about you, the author. So we're going to go back up, and I'm just going to click on slide 1, and I'm going to go into my slide. I'm going to highlight over my title, and then I'm just going to go ahead and type the name of my story. And I just wrote a book called Oliver Goes to Jamaica. And where it says author's name, I'm going to go ahead and click on that. I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to write my name by Jody Lee Conrad. So what I'm typing in, these are called text boxes. And when you click off of them, you can't see them. But if you click on the text, which I just wrote, you're going to be able to see the box show up. And you're going to click, and you're going to see this solid line. And once you see the solid line, you're going to see this little 4 arrows. And once you have the 4 arrows, if you click and hold down your mouse, you can go ahead and move your text box up. You can move your text box down. You can click on this, whoops. You can click on this green handle here, and you get a little circle, and you can even rotate your text box in all different directions. So you can kind of play around with that and see how you want your text to look. I'm going to go ahead and just leave mine the way it is right now. I'm going to move my name down a tiny bit. And then when I'm finished typing the title of my story and I'm changing my author name, then I'm ready to go on to the second slide. So I'm going to go ahead and click in the slide sorter on the left side again. And this is slide 2, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And right here it says type here. So again, I'm going to highlight over where it says type here. And then I'm just going to go ahead, I can either backspace and delete that text, or I can just start typing. So here's the start of my story. One chilly, winter day, as Oliver was sitting around watching the snowflakes fall and feeling pretty glum. And I don't know if you just heard that, but Oliver must know that I'm writing a book about him because he just meowed really loudly. So Oliver was sitting around feeling pretty glum. Oliver was not a huge fan of these frigid winter temperatures. He decided that a little fun in the sun might do him some good. And as you can see, my text is it's very close to the edge of my page, so I want to move my text box. So remember, I'm going to go ahead and click on the line that surrounds my text box. I'm going to click on it. I have those 4 arrows, which means I can move my box now. I'm going to go ahead and just move it up a tiny bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and just reread this page to make sure it sounds right and it makes sense. One chilly winter day, as Oliver was sitting around watching the snowflakes fall and feeling pretty glum, one chilly winter day as Oliver was sitting around watching the snowflakes fall. Oh, you know what? I should probably say he was feeling pretty glum. He was feeling pretty glum. Oliver was not a huge fan of these frigid winter temperatures. He decided that a little fun in the sun might do him some good. Boy, I'm glad I reread that because I caught my mistake. It's always important to go back and reread what you've written after you finish a page or a sentence. So now I'm ready for page 3. So I'm going to click on page 3. I'm going to find my text box where it says type here. I'm going to highlight over my text and I'm going to go ahead and start typing. So he did what any tech-savvy cat would do and Googled warm vacation spots. As quick as a pounce, Oliver booked his flight and called for a cab. Beep, beep. Oliver grabbed his sunglasses, flip-flops, and sunscreen and jumped in the taxi as he waved farewell to Miss Conrad. And I don't know if you can see this, but my text is almost falling off the page again, and I definitely don't want that to happen. So again, I'm going to click on the text box, and I'm going to pull it up and move it just a little bit so it's not falling off my page. Then I'm going to go to page 4. I'm going to find my text box. I'm going to highlight where it says type here. I'm going to go ahead and start typing my 4th page. Oliver boarded the plane and off he flew to sunny Jamaica, where the waters below are as blue as the sky above. When the plane landed, Oliver checked into his hotel and unpacked his suitcase. So I'm going to go ahead and reread that. Oliver boarded the plane and off he flew to sunny Jamaica, where the waters below are as blue as the sky above. When the plane landed, Oliver checked into his hotel and unpacked his suitcase. So I'm ready to move on to slide 5. So I'm going to click on slide 5 in my slide sorter on the left. And then I'm going to go into my slide. I'm going to highlight where it says type here in my text box. And I'm going to go ahead and type my 5th page. He went straight to the beach with his sunglasses and flip-flops on and sunscreen in his little paw. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read that before I go on to my next page. He went straight to the beach with his sunglasses and flip-flops on and sunscreen in his little paw. I'm going to go to slide 6 on my left here in my slide sorter. I'm going to go ahead and type in my text box. Click on that and highlight. Type here. And then I'm going to type my very last page of my book. For the rest of the winter, Oliver sat by the water in Jamaica, listening to the waves crash and soaking up the warm sunshine. And that is the end of my story. So I'm going to reread my last page. For the rest of the winter, Oliver sat by the water in Jamaica, listening to the waves crash and soaking up the warm sunshine. I'm going to go ahead and click on my very last slide on the left about the author. This is where it says tell about you. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight over there, and I'm going to do my about the author page. Miss Conrad is a first grade teacher at Lincoln School and has a cat named Oliver who inspired this book. Oliver really does not like cold winters. He loves to bask in the warm sunshine. Okay, so that is the end of my book. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go all the way back up to my very first page, and then my book is done. And if I want to watch my book as a slideshow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to the left corner of my screen, and there's a little screen there, and that's your slideshow button. So I'm going to click on my slideshow, and it says Oliver Goes to Jamaica by Jody Lee Conrad. To go to the next slide, I'm going to use my right arrow key, and I'm going to go ahead and click on that and advance the page. It says, one chilly, whoops, and I got out of that, sorry about that. One chilly winter day, as Oliver was sitting around watching the snowflakes fall, he was feeling pretty glum. Oliver was not a huge fan of these frigid winter temperatures. He decided that a little fun in the sun might do him some good. I'm going to go ahead and use my right arrow key again to move on to the next page. So he did what any tech-savvy cat would do and Googled warm vacation spots. As quick as a pounce, Oliver booked his flight and called for a cab. Beep, beep. Oliver grabbed his sunglasses, flip-flops, and sunscreen and jumped in the taxi as he waved farewell to Miss Conrad. I'm going to use my right arrow key again to move to the next page. Oliver boarded the plane and off he flew to sunny Jamaica, where the waters below are as blue as the sky above. When the plane landed, Oliver checked into his hotel and unpacked his suitcase. I'm ready to move on to page 4, so I'm going to use my right arrow key again. He went straight to the beach with his sunglasses and flip-flops on and sunscreen in his little paw. For the rest of the winter, Oliver sat by the water in Jamaica, listening to the waves crash and soaking up the warm sunshine. And here's my About the Author page. Miss Conrad is a first grade teacher at Lincoln School and has a cat named Oliver who inspired this book. Oliver really does not like cold winters. He loves to bask in the warm sunshine. And now to get out of my slideshow, I'm going to hit the right arrow key again, and that's going to take me back to the main slide page. And you'll see the slide sorter on the side again. So before I get out of here, I'm going to go ahead and save my work because I don't want to lose my awesome book that I just wrote. So I'm going to go to File at the top, right next to where it says PowerPoint. I'm going to go to File. I'm going to say Save As. I'm going to find a good spot to save my work, and you'll want to check with your parents to make sure where an appropriate spot to save your book. So I'm going to go ahead and save mine, and then I'm also going to highlight where it says Save As, and I'm going to type the title of my book. So my book is called Oliver Goes to Jamaica, and then I'm going to click Save, and my book is finished. It is now saved, so I can go back and make changes to it later, which I am going to do because I do want to add some different fonts and some different colors to my book, and I'm going to probably add some really fun pictures of Oliver doing some fun things and showing what he's doing in Jamaica and packing for his trip. So today we just learned how to use those text boxes and move them around the screen and type your story in those text boxes. So next time I talk to you, we're going to be learning how to change the font color and change the text style and add some really fun pictures to our story. And eventually we're going to be able to add our voice into our books, which will be really fun. So I hope you enjoyed learning how to use PowerPoint and creating your very first PowerPoint ebook.